Welcome agents, Year 7 Season 1 for the Division 2 is just around the corner, as well as the highly anticipated Battle for Brooklyn DLC. With new content on the way and many new players to the series, now is the perfect time to showcase some of the best builds in the game so you're fully prepared for Year 7. Today we are breaking down my top 8 solo PvE builds for the Division 2. Each build on this list offers a distinct playstyle, providing you with a variety of options for any content you choose to play, and I selected each build carefully so all 8 of them will be equally as efficient and powerful. I plan on making more Division 2 videos for Year 7, so do me a favor guys, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I would love to hear your opinions on some of these builds, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss any future videos. This should be a good year for the Division 2, and I'm excited to get back into the mix with you guys. Let's get started. This first build is arguably the most popular DPS build in the game. With an assault rifle as your main weapon, you'll be extremely lethal from all ranges, making it a very versatile build overall. It has 4 pieces of the Striker's Battle Gear gear set, unlocking extra fire rate, weapon handling, and the ability to stack extra weapon damage. This build also maximizes your critical hit potential by allowing you to stack even more damage with the Obliterate talent every time you land a crit on your enemies. I'm willing to bet almost every active Division 2 player has used this build at some point in time. It works for all content and is powerful enough to utilize in group play. It really all boils down to how quickly you can build your striker stacks, which is actually pretty simple thanks to the rock and roll ACS 12 shotgun, allowing you to reach max stacks with striker within seconds. Once that point is reached, you're essentially turning yourself into a killing machine to see how quickly you can eliminate all enemies around you. I like using the gunner specialization for this build because you get armor on kill, which can be useful for builds that have no armor cores, and so I can use the Banshee Pulse to CC enemies and open more opportunities for DPS. This may surprise you, but I'm actually using the Eagle Bearer over the St. Elmo's on this build. The Eagle Bearer has always been my favorite assault rifle, and it fits perfectly on this build thanks to its higher base damage, accuracy, and it just feels really good to use. If you don't have the Eagle Bearer or the St. Elmo's, any assault rifle will work. You'll also need the rock and roll ACS 12 shotgun. All you need to do with this shotgun is unload 1 full magazine on an enemy, and you'll reach max striker stacks in no time. The named Orbit pistol is also nice since it buffs your crit chance and crit damage whenever you swap from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy. We have the Coyote's Mask to help you stack crit chance and damage depending on the range between you and your target, a Fenris chest piece with weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and the Obliterate talent, which increases your weapon damage by an additional 20% whenever you crit. The higher your crit chance, the faster you can reach that maximum amount. And we have the Striker's holster, backpack, gloves, and knee pads, all of which have weapon damage and crits for the attributes. 4 pieces of Strikers provides 15% weapon handling, 15% rate of fire, and the Striker's Gamble talent, which lets you achieve up to 100 stacks of extra weapon damage with weapon hits. If you use the backpack like I have here, you unlock the Risk Management talent, which increases total weapon damage gain per stack from 0.65% to 0.90%. For skills, I'm going to recommend the Reviver Hive in case you are killed, which can happen if you're not careful since you don't have any armor on this build. And we have the Banshee Pulse, which is exclusive to the gunner specialization. This pulse highlights enemies and confuses them for a short period of time, allowing you to deal damage easily. Next, we have a fast-killing LMG build, which combines the exotic Iron Lung LMG with the powerful Umbra Initiative gear set. Umbra Initiative is a powerhouse when it comes to DPS. When you sit in cover for a short period of time, you stack the From the Shadows buff, which increases your crit damage and rate of fire quickly. If you have the Umbra Initiative chest piece, you can add 120% crit damage and 40% rate of fire. The buff depletes slowly, which means you can utilize the buffs for a long period of time, and whenever you get too low, you can just hop back into cover and stack it back up. What's also nice is you'll regenerate armor in cover while you build crit damage and rate of fire stacks. So this gear set isn't only used for increasing DPS. It can completely regenerate your armor when you pull back into cover to maybe reload your LMG, or block line of sight. This gear set works really well with LMGs because they typically have a larger magazine capacity, allowing you to utilize the Umbra buffs for a longer period of time before the need to reload. I'm using the gunner specialization for this one as well because of the armor on kill and the Banshee Pulse for CC. But the firewall specialization would also work really well with this build since it does increase burn duration for the Iron Lung by 20% and will also set enemies on fire when they break your armor. My primary weapon of choice is the exotic Iron Lung LMG, which comes with a unique talent called Ardent. This talent allows you to build a meter when you're shooting your weapon, and once the meter is full, you'll ignite enemies with your bullets, which is incredibly useful for crowd control and DPS. I also like using the named Black Friday LMG because it has a higher base RPM. It can reach 150 bullets in the magazine when you use the large pouch attachment, which is exclusive to the gunner specialization, and it rolls with the perfectly unhinged talent, which increases your weapon damage by 22% at the cost of some accuracy and stability. 150 rounds feels incredible when you have max Umbra stacks. And again, the named Orbit Pistol, which buffs your crit chance and crit damage whenever you swap from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy. Just like the previous build, I have the exotic Coyote's Mask just to help me maintain that 60% crit hit chance whenever I'm shooting enemies within 15 to 25 meters, and then when I'm within close range proximity, I can increase crit damage by 25%, which is nice. For the backpack, I'm using Petrov Defense just to gain an extra 10% LMG damage. For attributes, we have weapon damage, crit damage, status effects to extend the burn duration of the LMG, and the Wicked talent, which increases your weapon damage by 18% for 20 seconds whenever you apply a status effect on enemies. Lastly, we have 4 pieces of Umbra Initiative, including the chest, holster, gloves, and knee pads, all of which have weapon damage as a core attribute, and crit chance and or crit damage as a minor attribute. You only need about 49% crit hit chance for any build that uses the Coyote's Mask, as long as you stay within 15 to 25 meters of the enemies you are shooting. For example, this build has 49% crit hit chance and 141% crit hit damage, both of which will increase when you engage in combat. 4 pieces of the Umbra Initiative gear set adds 15% crit hit chance, 30% reload speed, which is perfect for the Iron Lung since it already has a 2-second reload time, and the From the Shadows and Into the Light talent. As mentioned earlier, when you take cover, you'll quickly stack 120% crit hit damage and 30% rate of fire thanks to the chest piece. Whenever you need to replenish those stacks, you'll get back into cover and regenerate armor by consuming the Into the Light stacks, which you filled up when you were out of cover in combat. Both buffs work in conjunction with each other to provide you with more DPS and manual healing when needed. For the skills, I'm using the Reviver Hive for obvious reasons since this build is squishy and you always want to have a plan B in case you get killed, and the Banshee Pulse to confuse enemies, highlight them, and even activate Wicked for easy extra weapon damage. If you ever wanted a build that can one-shot kill pretty much every single enemy in the game, this Hotshot sniper build is for you. The trick to making this possible is to combine the 4-piece Hotshot gear set with the Headhunter talent and Determined on your sniper rifle, which will massively boost the damage of your shots by counting every shot as a headshot no matter which part of the body you hit. I have to say this build performs better in larger areas where you can keep your distance and still see enemies around you, like control points for example. It won't be the best choice for close quarters, but that doesn't mean this build is bad by any means. It is easily the strongest sniper build in the Division 2. It's also very satisfying because you have the potential to one-shot named enemies on heroic difficulty while chaining kills from enemy to enemy. With enough precision, you can complete a level 4 control point within a couple of minutes, making it a perfect build for farming and clearing the map. The Sharpshooter specialization is going to be the best choice for several reasons. It provides 15% extra headshot damage, 15% increased stability, and provides access to the flash grenade and tactician drone. For this build, you can use any marksman rifle with Determined, but I would personally recommend the White Death due to its increased headshot damage. The Determined talent makes every shot a headshot no matter which part of the body you hit, as long as the shot before it was a headshot. As a backup weapon, I have the exotic Bighorn assault rifle, which fits perfectly on this build because it stacks up to 150% headshot damage with each headshot you land. For the gear pieces, you'll need the Hotshot mask, holster, gloves, and knee pads. For these pieces, you'll need weapon damage as a core attribute and headshot damage as a minor attribute. Again, the key to making this build work is to stack as much headshot damage as possible. The Hotshot gear set adds 30% marksman rifle damage, 30% weapon handling, 30% headshot damage, and the Headache talent, which provides headshot damage, armor, and magazine refill buffs for each consecutive shot you land on your enemies. For the chest piece, you'll use the named Chain Killer chest with weapon damage, headshot damage, weapon handling, and the perfect Headhunter talent. With this talent, after you kill an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit within 30 seconds will deal an additional 150% of that killing blow's damage, making it even easier to one-shot kill enemies. You should also sneak in Araldi Holdings for the backpack, which adds 10% extra marksman rifle damage to the build. The best attributes will be weapon damage, headshot damage, weapon handling, and for the talent Vigilance, which increases weapon damage by 25%. For skills, I like to use the decoy for situations where I need to reposition or confuse enemies, and the Tactician drone, which is exclusive to the sharpshooter specialization. This skill is great because it hovers over the battlefield, highlighting all enemies within radius. Now, I know we already have a Striker's build on this list, but the beauty of this gear set is its versatility. There are so many ways to make Striker's battle gear work, and this one in particular is one of the best. It combines the exotic Chameleon assault rifle with 4-piece strikers, the exotic Exodus gloves, and the named Turmoil knee pads. There's a lot going on with this build, so let me explain. Strikers will allow you to stack extra weapon damage when you deal damage to enemies. The Chameleon will allow you to stack crits, weapon damage, and reload speed depending on which part of the body you target. The named Turmoil knee pads will activate the ability for you to deal damage to other enemies around you within 30 meters, and the Exodus gloves will drop a smoke grenade on the ground whenever your armor is broken, removing you from combat for 4 seconds, allowing you to reapply the Chameleon stacks. This is one of my favorite builds when I need to clear content fast, because the dispersed damage from the Turmoil and knee pads is incredibly powerful, and when you combine it with the fully stacked damage from Strikers and the Chameleon, it turns into one of the fastest killing builds in the entire game. For this build, I'm using the Firewall specialization so I can gain access to the Striker Ballistic Shield, which buffs weapon damage to all enemies in front of you, and it gives you the ability to apply burn to enemies that break armor, which works nice when paired with the Exodus gloves. Primary weapon is the exotic Chameleon assault rifle, which comes with the Adaptive Instincts talent. Landing 30 headshots will increase your crit chance by 20% and crit damage by 50%. 65 body shots will increase weapon damage by 90%, and 20 leg shots will boost reload speed by 150%. All buffs will only last 45 seconds and then refresh when you're out of combat. This is where the exotic Exodus gloves come into play. When you have these gloves equipped, on armor break you will drop a smoke bomb at your feet, concealing you for 3 seconds. That concealment will actually pull you out of combat for 3 seconds, which means you'll have a manual reset for your Chameleon stacks, making it even deadlier. The ACS-12 shotgun will be used to increase your Striker stacks quickly, and the Orbit pistol can help you stack even more crit damage when needed. This build has 4 pieces of Strikers, and for this setup, you'll be utilizing the chest piece and the backpack together. The reason you want the chest piece is because it increases Strikers' gamble stacks from 100 to 200, and the backpack is increasing the weapon damage gain per stack from 0.65% to 0.90%, allowing you to achieve the maximum amount of damage possible from Strikers. Every piece on this build will have a weapon damage core, along with crit chance and crit damage. Just remember, you don't need to max out your crit chance because the Chameleon will give you 20% once you land enough headshots, so really you only need about 40 to 50% crit hit chance. As mentioned earlier, the Exodus gloves will drop a smoke bomb on armor break at your feet, concealing you for 3 seconds, pulling you out of combat, giving you the ability to manually reset the Chameleon stacks. And lastly, the Turmoil knee pads, which add crit chance, weapon damage, more crits, and it comes with a unique talent called Bewildered, which applies 50% of the damage you deal to another enemy nearby within 30 meters. For the skills, I have the Reviver Hive to pick me up in case I go down, and the Striker's Ballistic Shield for more protection and increased weapon damage. If you're looking for a powerful close-range SMG build, you can make one of the absolute best builds by combining the 4-piece Hunter's Fury gear set with the Memento exotic backpack and the Intimidate talent. Hunter's Fury amplifies your SMG and shotgun damage, it provides armor on kill, and also debuffs enemies. The Memento exotic backpack requires you to pick up trophies off of dead bodies, which will provide short-term and long-term buffs for your character. For each armor core on your build, you'll stack bonus armor, and for each weapon damage core, you'll stack damage for a short period of time when you collect trophies. You can leverage the bonus armor by using the Intimidate talent on your chest piece to provide you with even more amplified damage whenever bonus armor is active. After you pick up 30 trophies, you also gain a long-term buff that provides 30% weapon damage, 3% armor regen, and 30% skill efficiency, making the Memento one of the best in slot backpacks for pretty much any build. You have to be really aggressive with this build in order to take advantage of the bonus armor damage for Intimidate, and so you can replenish armor whenever you kill enemies. Playing passive will put you at a huge disadvantage, so trust me when I say you'll have more than enough DPS to kill enemies before they kill you. Gunner is your best choice for the specialization because it stacks more armor on kill and gives you access to the Banshee Pulse. My main weapon is the Dark Winter SMG, which comes with the Perfect Killer weapon talent, which grants 90% crit hit damage for 10 seconds whenever you kill an enemy with a crit. Again, aggression is key if you want to keep Perfect Killer active at all times. Since Hunter's Fury also increases shotgun damage, I'm using a military M870 as my secondary with the Brazen talent. This talent amplifies your shotgun damage by 6.5% for each pellet that hits your target. And we also have the Orbit pistol for the sidearm so we can stack more crits. We have the Hunter's Fury mask, holster, gloves, and knee pads on the build to unlock the 4-piece bonus. This full set will unlock 15% shotgun and SMG damage, 20% armor on kill, and 50% health on kill, and the Apex Predator talent, which debuffs all enemies within 15 meters, amplifying your damage to them by 20%, and also amplifies weapon damage even further when you kill enemies by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. This build has 3 armor cores, so you can leverage the bonus armor you gain for each trophy you collect. You can add more armor if you want to increase your survivability even further. Each piece on this build has either crit chance or crit damage as the minor attribute. Your goal is to reach at least 50% crit hit chance, and then stack as much crit hit damage as you can. For the chest piece, I'm using Sokolov for the 10% increase SMG damage. I have armor, crit chance, crit damage, and the Intimidate talent, which stacks up to 36% amplified damage whenever you have bonus armor active, which is simple thanks to the Memento trophies. Again, the exotic Memento backpack will provide short-term and long-term buffs. For each armor core you have, you'll stack bonus armor, and for each weapon damage core, you'll stack damage for a short period of time when you collect trophies. After you pick up the maximum amount of trophies, which is 30, you'll gain a long-term buff that provides 30% extra weapon damage, 3% armor regen, and 30% skill efficiency. For skills, I have the Banshee Pulse for crowd control and the Reviver Hive as a backup. The Heartbreaker gear set is one of my personal favorites because it offers exceptional survivability while also increasing your damage simultaneously. This gear set unlocks the ability for you to stack bonus armor whenever you hit pulsed enemies. It adds an extra layer of protection to your build, which also boosts your damage by 1.1% for each stack, so essentially the more bonus armor you have, the more difficult it will be for enemies to kill you, and you will also gain a significant damage buff. Most people prefer using this set with the Memento backpack so they can collect trophies and stack more bonus armor, but to be honest, I feel like this build is more consistent when you use the Heartbreaker backpack because it doubles the speed you stack bonus armor, and when you combine it with the Heartbreaker chest piece like I have here, you can increase your max stacks from 50 to 100, which is very easy thanks to the ACS 12 shotgun. The gear set by default requires you to land headshots in order to pulse enemies, but it is way more efficient to use an assault rifle with the linked laser pointer that pulses enemies you aim at. If you want a build that feels tanky but also dishes out a significant amount of DPS, this is the build for you. The Technician specialization is going to be your best option for this build because it unlocks the linked laser pointer attachment, which you will equip to your assault rifle. This attachment pulses enemies you aim at, making it easier to stack bonus armor without having to rely on headshots. My primary weapon of choice is one of the hardest hitting assault rifles in the game, the Kingbreaker. This powerful weapon rolls with the perfect flatline talent, which amplifies your weapon damage by 20% to pulsed enemies. Just make sure you attach the linked laser pointer so you can pulse enemies effortlessly. Then we have the ACS-12 shotgun for obvious reasons, since it's one of the best weapons for building stacks quickly, and the Orbit pistol to stack crits. We have the Heartbreaker's mask, chest, holster, and backpack. The mask has weapon damage as a core attribute, and the other 3 pieces have armor. Each piece though will have crit chance as a minor attribute, and a protection from elites mod to increase your survivability against tougher enemies when you're playing aggressive and building bonus armor stacks. 4 pieces of Heartbreaker will add 15% assault rifle and LMG damage, 15% weapon handling, and the Heart Stopper talent, which adds a stack of bonus armor and weapon damage when you shoot pulsed enemies. I recommend using the Heartbreaker chest piece because it will increase your max stacks from 50 to 100, and the Heartbreaker backpack, which doubles the speed at which you stack the bonus armor. We also have Cheska gloves for 8% crit hit chance with weapon damage and crits, and the Fox's Prayer knee pads. If you're confused as to why I'm using these knee pads, it's because they come with 8% damage to targets out of cover, which actually provides more damage to your build versus running Fenris knee pads. For skills, we have the Decoy to confuse enemies and reposition, and the Shield for extra protection when you're building bonus armor stacks with your ACS-12. Next, we have a bleed focus build that uses the powerful ongoing Directive gear set, which allows you to build and consume hollow point rounds that amplify your weapon damage. This build is purely focused on dishing out as much damage as possible. It has all weapon damage cores, crits, and even utilizes brand sets like Walker and Harris and Providence to stack more weapon damage, damage to armor, and crit chance. Thanks to the Ninja Bike backpack, all of the bonuses are easier to achieve. What's nice about ongoing Directive is it also serves as a nice support build if you're ever playing with a team, since half of the hollow point ammo you gain is added to your teammate's magazine, unlocking the ability for them to amplify their damage and also cause enemies to bleed on hit. In addition to the amplified damage from ongoing Directive, we're also using the FAMAS assault rifle with the Sadist talent, which amplifies weapon damage even further by 30% to bleeding enemies. This build deals a massive amount of damage and is perfect for anyone who wants to be the damage dealer while also applying team buffs at the same time. Since you need to apply a status effect to an enemy first before you kill them in order to gain the hollow point rounds, I'm using the Gunner specialization for the Banshee Pulse because it applies status quickly at a wider radius, prepping enemies for those hollow point rounds. My main weapon is the FAMAS assault rifle with the Sadist talent. This talent amplifies your weapon damage against bleeding enemies by 30%, which is massive. It also has a high rate of fire and is one of the highest DPS weapons in the Division 2. For secondaries, you have many options. I'm using the Iron Lung because it ignites enemies on fire when you shoot them, so you can stack hollow point rounds easily. The Ninja Bike backpack is the bread and butter of this build because it unlocks an extra bonus for each brand set and gear set on the build. This is why you only need 3 pieces of ongoing Directive to unlock the 4-piece bonus, and 1 piece of Providence and Walker to unlock the 2-piece bonus. The Providence mask is providing 13% headshot damage and 8% crit hit chance, and for the attributes you want weapon damage and crits. The 4-piece bonus for ongoing Directive provides 15% status effects, 30% reload speed, and the Rules of Engagement talent, which applies hollow point rounds to your magazine whenever you kill status affected enemies that amplifies your weapon damage and also applies bleed on hit. I highly recommend using the ongoing Directive chest piece because it will increase your amplified damage from the hollow point rounds from 20% to 50%, which is insane. And lastly, the Walker Harris holster, which adds 5% weapon damage, 5% damage to armor, with weapon damage and crits as the attributes. For skills, we have the Reviver Hive and the Banshee Pulse to help you proc status on enemies and fill your magazine up with hollow point rounds easily. And lastly, for all you agents out there interested in specializing into a skill build that has an equal source of skill damage and weapon damage, I have the perfect build for you. This build has 6 skill tiers, which means you have the maximum amount of efficiency with your skills. In this case, it would be the assault rifle and the striker drone. Now, this build isn't just a skill build. Weapon damage plays a crucial role in amplifying the damage of your skills. The capacitor exotic assault rifle is best in slot for this setup because it builds skill damage stacks up to 40% when you shoot enemies, and for each skill tier on the build, you'll add an additional 7.5% weapon damage. For talents, you'll be using Obliterate on the chest piece so you can increase your damage up to 20% when you land crits, and the perfect combined arms talent on the backpack, which increases skill damage by 30% for 3 seconds when you shoot enemies. So essentially, you're buffing your weapon and skill damage significantly when you use the capacitor. When both skills are locked onto an enemy and you're shooting them as well, the time to kill is absolutely insane. The Technician specialization is the best choice because it provides an extra skill tier, allowing you to put a weapon damage core on your build, and will also increase skill damage by an additional 10%. The exotic capacitor assault rifle is currently one of the best weapons in the game because it has the ability to roll with damage to armor and damage to targets out of cover, which will increase your DPS drastically. The talent increases your skill damage up to 40% when you shoot enemies and provides 7.5% weapon damage for each skill tier on the build. If you don't have the capacitor, a high-end assault rifle like this black market AKM will work. Just make sure you use the In Sync talent, which provides a flat 30% weapon damage bonus and skill damage buff whenever you are shooting and using skills at the same time. For the mask, we have the first piece of Empress. The 2-piece bonus provides 10% skill health and 10% skill damage, and for the attributes, you want skill damage, crit chance, and a crit damage mod. We also have a Fenris chest piece for 10% more assault rifle damage, and since Technician is providing an extra skill tier, you can roll a weapon damage core onto your chest piece. We have an Empress holster with skill damage and crit chance. You can see here I have 3 pieces of the Hanayu brand set on this build because the full brand set actually fits perfectly. You get skill haste, skill damage, and 15% weapon damage. This name backpack comes with the perfect combined arms talent, which increases skill damage by 30% for 3 seconds when you shoot enemies. For the minor attributes, you'll use crits and skill damage. Your goal should be to reach at least 50% crit hit chance and 150% crit hit damage on this build. For skills, you'll use the assault turret and the striker drone, both of which can be manually targeted onto enemies and provide consistent damage to help you utilize combined arms with the capacitor, or even keep Insynced procced when needed. Keep in mind there are many viable builds in the game, so this list is subjective, but I can assure you I have tried dozens of different builds, and these 8 always seem to outperform the others in terms of consistency and efficiency. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you used any of these builds? Are you excited for the Battle for Brooklyn DLC? My goal with this video was to get anyone up to speed who maybe has taken an extended break from the game and wants to update their builds. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to see more Division 2 content for Year 7, don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, everyone.